Hello everyone, it's Triple Z Hacker back with some Shogun 2 multiplayer. We're playing on the map Gifu Crossing, and there are two key buildings, the farmhouse and the workshop, and it's a 2v2 battle. Now this is a special video when it comes to my Shogun 2 multiplayer battle series, in that I will be teaching you guys how to skirmish, and more importantly, how to use a skirmish army. Now what do I mean by a skirmish army? Well, in Shogun 2, when it comes to army compositions, there are several options you can choose from. But the two primary options revolve around a balanced army or a core army. Now, a core army is when a certain unit type, whether that be swords, cavalry, spears, or missiles, dominates that army. And in this instance, for this battle, our army will be dominated by missiles. And so we have a missile core. Now, the four units that will be our core are the Bow Warrior Monks, some Daikyu Samurai, our Bow General, and Bow Cavalry. The remaining units that we have will be supporting this missile core, because that missile core will be the primary reason that we achieve victory in this battle. And that is where skirmishing comes in, because we are going to be skirmishing a lot. And I'm going to show you guys in this video how you can skirmish effectively in Shogun 2. Now, let's get started. So, the other units that are supporting, of course, one being the Yari Samurai. This is the vanguard unit, the unit that you want to have with rapid advance to go capture the key buildings. And of course, we have our front line, which are the Naginata Samurai. These guys are tanks. They're going to pin the enemy infantry down and allow our bows to shoot as many volleys as they can at them. And then we have our flanks, which are secured by some cavalry units, 2 Yari Cav and 1 Katana Cav. And then we have 2 Nodachi Samurai as our primary sword units. So, right off the bat, of course, we send our 2 bow cavalry units, including our general, over here to harass the enemy lines and get a few early volleys off. Now, when it comes to using a missile core, one of the key concepts, and I think this concept is underutilized, is you want to set baits. And you want to set traps. And so, this bow cavalry here is bait. We are baiting our opponents to come this way into these woods and to chase after this bow cavalry unit. And in doing so, we're going to separate our opponent's cavalry away from the rest of their troops and hopefully encircle or trap them with some of our spears and our own cavalry. So that's what you want to do. With the missile cores, you want to set traps. You want to bait your opponent into attacking in certain situations that would be disadvantageous to them. And this is one of them exactly. So again, we send some Naginatas over here. We have our Yaris in the vicinity, and we just pull back. Now, our opponent doesn't bite this time, but we can set up the same bait once again with our bow cavalry. And as you can see, just bring them back over into these woods and get right back into position. And even if your opponent doesn't fall for this bait, your bow cavalry can just shoot at a distance and eliminate some of your opponent's cavalry. So again, the advantage is completely up to you. You're basically, the one thing that your opponent has that they can do is attack. That's their primary option, and that's what you want them to do it at a point in the battle which is more advantageous to you than for them. So again, we pull back our cavalry, and we bring over some Naginatas, and we also have some Nodachi in the area. And of course, our ally thankfully comes over here as well to help, but we get a countercharge with some Yari cavalry, and I have some veteran cavalry units, so they're able to hold and pin them down. And with our allies' help, along with the additional infantry coming over, my opponent wisely pulls back, but in pulling back, we're able to chase down some of these cavalry units and inflict quite a number of casualties. Another key factor that we'll be going over when it comes to using a missile army is range. And as you can see, these two units have 200 range, and our general as well has 200 range. You want as much range as possible with these bow units because you want to be able to shoot at a far enough distance to where your opponent's ranged units can't match that range, or their infantry can't possibly get close enough to you. You can pull back with enough time to be able to move far away enough before they're able to charge and attack these bow units. So range is a key factor because you're able to get off more volleys, attack your enemy's missile units, and also go for high value targets such as these Naginata warrior monks here. You want these missiles to be shooting at low units with low armor. So primarily Naginata warrior monks, Ashigaru, and even the other bow units. Although the bow samurai and Daikyu samurai do have some armor. Now with my opponent's cavalry and that initial attack sort of stymied, what that does is basically hinders our opponent from wanting to make another attack or wanting to make another gamble or risk. And again, now that we're just skirmishing here, having a little friendly, cheeky skirmish, that's exactly what we want. We want our opponent to skirmish against us because we have the superior missile units. That's exactly what we want. Or at least our army is based off missile units, so we just want to skirmish all day. We don't want to make any advances. We want to threaten to advance. We want to threaten to charge, but really our entire gameplay is revolved around defense. Not necessarily camping, but defense. We want to harass with our bows, and we want to make moves with our cavalry or threaten to attack. But at the end of the day, we really just want to take advantage of our position on the battlefield and make tactical withdrawals when necessary. Or tactically withdraw when necessary. Of course, this was a wise move by my opponent to send some Yari Samurai over here. But we have the bow cav here just to pick them apart, and we can just run away with our cavalry. There's no need to engage them. And our opponent decides to continue chasing us, so we bring over Nodachis and some Yari Samurai here to go crush them. And again, so our opponent is still some more Naginata warrior monks moved up, so our bows are just going to tear them to shreds. And this is exactly what we want. We want to eliminate these bow samurai, and we want to eliminate the Naginata warrior monks with our bows. And we have a nice front line of Naginata samurai just to deter my opponent from attacking. As you can see, we just want to secure the flank here, and we still have all our cavalry available behind just to protect. And we still even have some Nodachis over here on this side, not really doing much. And now we bring the bow cavalry back over because now we can skirmish with those Daikyus. And here my opponent finally decides to start charging, but it's not an effective advance because there's only really 2 spears or Naginatas coming our way, and the Naginata warrior monks have already lost half of the total amount of their units, and the Naginata samurai won't beat my Naginatas. And of course, some Naginata attendants start coming this way too. Over here on this side of the battlefield, everything's just tied down. And we're basically just able to leave our Naginatas here, and this Naginata unit could just tank both these units right here, and our bows are still safe, protected, and are able to shoot. And that's exactly what you want. And even again, not a really great decision just sending all this cavalry into Naginatas. Not wise whatsoever by my opponent. But again, these Naginata samurai are able to hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units all by themselves. And then we got some katana cab that we snuck in right through the back to hit some bows. And even though this cavalry broke through here, there's only 17 of them. Even if they attack some of the bow warrior monks, it's fine. The bow warrior monks have high morale. You can put them on melee mode, and they'll be able to fight off the cavalry for a little bit. And then over here, my opponent's swords just kind of distance themselves from out of the battlefield or out of the the engagement. I mean, it would have been nice if they attacked, you know, at the same time, simultaneously, but sending them over later, it allowed my cavalry basically to get a nice charge in, and also it allowed me to win this engagement quicker and just move over forces to deal with these swords. So let's get a close-up view. So yeah, see, some of my monks get hit, but that's fine. This unit's already wavering. The Naginatas are able to win this engagement here. And now my Katana Calves back in the rear of my opponents. And even some Nodachis didn't even have to get involved over here. These Naginatas are able to hold for that long. And then we cycle charge with our cavalry, get some Nodachis over here. And again, Naginata Samurai, really important to the missile build, or even some Yari Ashigaru as well, and Yari Wall can make this really effective. But again, holding down 3 units here. Of course, it would have been better if my opponent didn't clump them up, but still, this unit's able to just pin these units down, and our bows are still safe. We're able just to continuously shoot more. And then we get a nice hammer and anvil there. And now our front line can push up, as these Nodachis have routed these 2 Ashigaru units, and all that's left is the General's Bodyguard and a few remaining swords. So as you can see, really just want to break apart our opponent's army, try to discourage them from engaging us quickly, and we want to protect our missile units at all costs, and just get as many volleys as we can, and set some baits every once in a while, or traps, for our opponent. Now, I know I didn't cover what's happening on this side of the battlefield, but basically both these armies were able to annihilate each other to the point where, since I won this side so convincingly, I was able to just help my teammate defeat this opponent. And again, you know, these units are used in support of these units here. But once these units were able to whittle down my opponent's infantry so much, it allowed for my support units to be able to take a primary role as well. And that's exactly what you want when you're using a missile army, is you want your supporting units to perform their functions, do their jobs, and help you secure victory, which we were able to do. So once again, that's how you use a missile army. You really just want to make sure that you have a nice core of missile units. You want to protect them from early cavalry engagements with some spears or Naginatas as a front line. You want to give your supporting units time on the flanks, and also to basically use them in the battle when opportune for you. And of course, a bow general is usually obviously advantageous. It can work with leadership general as well. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed more of this content. I have plenty of Shogun 2 on my channel, and also be sure to check out my live streams on Twitch. Anyways, take care.